Good morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire, and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the moving averages, the MACDs, and the day's support, resistance, and pivot levels. It is Sunday, the 15th of November. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, we're looking at the hourly candlesticks. Bearish start to the day for Bitcoin. Gonna need to see Bitcoin move back through the pivot at 16,029 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 16,343. Going to need to see broad-based crypto rebound for Bitcoin to break out from yesterday's high. That was at 16,315, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Bitcoin test resistance at 16,500 levels before any pullback. There is a key resistance level at 16,481 on the trend analysis to pin Bitcoin back. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 15,743 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 15,500 levels. Second major support level sits at 15,429. Looking at the MACDs, we've got a narrowing of the bullish histograms supportive of this early pullback, but nothing conclusive to suggest a bearish day ahead, however, so you need to keep an eye on that. On the EMAs, we have seen the 50 narrow on the 100 and the 200, supporting the early downside, however. So key through the early part of the day would be to break back through the pivot level to then target that first major resistance level and 16,500 levels. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, also bearish this morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot of 464 to take a run at the first major resistance level, staying at 475. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 470s. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 480 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Ethereum test the second major resistance level at 490 before any pullback. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 450 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of sub 440s. Second major support level sits at 438. Looking at the MACDs, we're seeing a marked narrowing of the bullish histograms supporting the early pullback, so look out for a bearish cross there. On the EMAs, we're also seeing the 50 narrow on the 100 and the 200, suggestive of another day in the red. So failure to move through that pivot level and return to 470s would bring support levels into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, tracking the broader market in the red early on. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 64. Take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 66.2. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from 65 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 66.3 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Litecoin test resistance at 68 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 68.6. Failure to move back through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 61.6 into play. Barring an extended sell-off, Litecoin should stay clear of sub 60. Second major support level sits at 59.4. Looking at the MACDs, we're seeing a narrowing of the bullish histograms and a possible bearish cross there, so keep an eye on that. On the EMAs, the 50 is holding on the 100 and the 200, slight narrowing there, so pointing to a bearish day ahead. So failure to move through that pivot level at 64 will bring support levels into play. You're looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, bucking the trend early on, bullish start. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP avoid a fall back through the pivot at 0.2691 to support another run at the first major resistance level at 0.2770. Barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to continue to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, further through that first major resistance level, expect the second major resistance level at 0.2855 to come into play. A fall back through the pivot would bring the first major support level today at 0.2606 into play. Barring an extended sell-off, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.26 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.2527. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a slight narrowing of the bullish histogram after yesterday's late bullish cross, supporting this pullback in the early morning. On the EMAs, the 50 is moving away from the 100 and 200 marginally, however, supporting further upside on the day ahead. So a break back through to 0.275 levels, and through that first major resistance level would bring 0.28 levels into play.